So today we're working on this Citroën Picasso, and it has had what I consider a pretty common issue on these little Citroëns and Peugeots and stuff. The spring is gone. So the spring on this car has snapped pretty badly. This came through and tore out the tyre. So it's been jacked up so the tyre could be taken off yesterday. I'm going to lift it up a little bit higher because it's pretty close to the ground at the moment. So I want to give myself a little bit more of a comfortable working environment. And then we'll be on our way. So now I've successfully lifted the car. I like to lift it up on both sides just to make sure nothing is lopsided and that the car's going to sit evenly on the ground. And also while I'm here, I'll probably check out the other side and see if that's going to likely to go ping soon too. So I think we're going to have to remove the windscreen wipers. And I like to soak everything with a bit of WD-40 before I get started. So first thing is first, let's pop the bonnet. Is it on the passenger side? Yes it is. Okay, please don't be sticking. Look. So our shock absorber, the top of it, is just in there. So we're going to have to get in there. In order to do that, we're going to have to remove this cowling, and in order to remove this, we're going to have to remove the windscreen wiper arm. So hopefully these ones will just come off easy and won't give us too much trouble, but these can be a real pain in the backside. All windscreen wipers can. So first order of business, soak down all the bolts that we think we'll be removing. Pretty sure we're going to have to remove this drop link back here. Might have to undo those as well. Hopefully, don't think so. I think we can leave that tie rod end. We can leave the ABS sensor, and I'm pretty sure we can leave the ball joint in as well. I'm hoping that we'll just be able to lever it down. But just in case if that doesn't work, I'll lubricate the ball joint as well, because that might help. So we'll start with this one down here. It's a 16mm. Ah dear. Now we can just lift that piece of cowling out of the way. So now that we've removed that, we can see the top of our strut mount, and there's 3 bolts holding this in. There's one there, and then one over there. This is the main nut that holds the top mount down on top of the spring. So we've given this a good soak with a bit of WD-40, and we're going to leave these until last. So we'll come back up here when we've got it disconnected from underneath. Fully prepared to snap this bolt off, but we're going to do our best to not snap it off. It looks pretty rusty on the top, but sometimes they just go into the casting and no moisture gets down there, and they actually look worse than they are. Nice 13. Yeah, see, not actually that rusty on the inside. Very good. We're happy with that. That's this bracket freed up now, so we can pull that away. There we go. So we've got two 16mm nuts here, one for the anti-roll bar link up here, and then one for the ball joint down the bottom. This anti-roll bar link doesn't look too old, so I'm kind of hoping that it will come out. Same with this. But if I do break something, I've got spare bolts, just in case. Always keep spare bolts just in case, because we're always breaking stuff on these old rusty cars. Can't help it though, it's got to come out. Things have escalated to a bigger ratchet. It's a slow process, but you just got to keep going with it. Just a little turn by little turn. So this repair's being done on a real budget. That's why I didn't bother grabbing the back of it, because I didn't want to break anything. But that's it, pretty much. Once you get it to this point, you're pretty much home free. I'm amazed that held. Now we need to remove this nut on the pinch bolt here at the bottom. Whew! Wow. It's tight. So I'm just going to break loose this bottom ball joint because it's just been a little bit hard to spread this strut filling knuckle. Now we'll just try and knock that little pinch bolt out. Now I'm just going to split open the back of the joint. So I did have to hit mine a few times, and you can see it mushrooms the end slightly. Slightly is okay, but if you have to hit it more than 3 or 4 times, I'd say try something else, because you'll damage the bolt. Now we'll do is just put the nut back on a few turns so we don't lose them, and put that to one side. So now we've got everything disconnected down here, we just need to disconnect it from up above. And why not? So there's a fair bit of thread on this. And I'm just going to try and buzz off a little bit while it's under a bit of tension. Okay, she's not going to go. We have to pinch the inside. just give it just a little blip just to get it started. And now we need to compress the spring so it doesn't come off and fly in our face. Okay, there we go. Now we'll just whip that the rest of the way out. And that's that. Now we can remove this from the shock. There we go. Let's try and keep all of that in order. That little washer goes in there. This little washer goes on top of the mount, and then they go together like so. So we'll keep that all together in the correct position. Now we can remove our old spring. Broke pretty badly. Now we'll get our spring compressors off of here, and then we'll get our new spring ready. Starting to feel a little bit nervous with just my small ones. They don't quite reach long enough for the whole spring. So I've got out a second pair now just to try and bring up part of the bottom a little bit. Don't take any chances with your face. It's the only one you've got. And you need it. Without your face, you wouldn't be the same. So take care of your face. So we're still going on it nice and steady and slowly and safely. Don't want to hurt ourselves. So once you get it aligned, you want to just get all of the bump stop and everything pushed back up. You want to make sure you've got enough threads to get the nut on there good and proper. So we'll wind that on. We're going to need some grips to hold the shaft, I think. So I'm just going to slide the bump stop down so I can get my grips in there. I don't like gripping the shaft, the piston rather, unless I absolutely have to. And if I do have to, I'll always do it up high. There we go. That should do it. Just to wind this on. Now I do have a spring compressor in my van, a proper one, which I would usually use. I'm just showing you with the this way, just in case if you haven't got one at home. This is the DIY method, I suppose you could say. However, doing this one here, I actually don't really feel very safe. So I would recommend taking it to a garage and have them wind it on for you. That'll do me for now. Okay, now that the nut is secured, there isn't really much else that can go wrong. There's some little locating tabs. You just have to slide around the top mount till it reaches. Try and line that up to where it should be. Make sure the bottom's where it should be. And now we'll just gently remove our spring compressor. See that? Used every single thread. That was a little bit scary. Usually these French ones are usually pretty easy to compress. They're what we call a soft spring, but this one here was not like that. It was mental. Almost there. And there it is. If you got this far, congratulations. You have just successfully changed a spring. Way! Give yourself a round of applause. It's not fully tightened down yet. We're going to have to tighten this down the rest of the way. What I'm going to probably end up doing is just getting my grips on here and getting my impact gun and just giving it a little razzle-a-tazz. If failing that, if you can't do that, you just, well, it's quite simple. You just get that in there, and then you just keep turning that with your Allen key in there, holding it loose. This one's ancient, and that Allen key I suspect will round out, so I'm not even going to bother trying it. I'm just going to whap whap. More around about there. That's the one. That's the ticket. Done. Done and dusted. I do like to talk things down. Anybody that watches a lot of my videos will know I'm a sucker for talking things down. But that'll do me for this car. This is just Dad's old little farm car sort of thing. I can see there's some witness marks on the top here. So I'm just going to bring the top mount roughly to around about here. So I get it in the right place. But you'll have to check the orientation when you're in the car. But if you bolt up the top first, you can always rotate the bottom. So this part here moves. That's what allows you to, that's what allows your spring to move when you're steering. So, yep. Also, just double check before you put it back in. I mean, mine's rock solid, but just give it a little wiggle. If it's got a lot of play in it, chances are your top mount is shot and you probably need to replace it, or you'll get a knocking noise, which, believe it or not, most people find quite difficult to find because they don't suspect this thing here. They're usually looking at their ball joints or drop links or something. So now all I need to do is fish this up in there. Now that we've got one started, we just want to get the other ones roughly into place. Now all that's left to do is to reassemble everything. And that's how I replaced the front spring on a 1.6 petrol Citroën Xsara Picasso. Very similar to many other cars as well, so if you do give this a try, let me know how you get on. And if you run into something, or you've got tips that you think somebody else might appreciate, then put it down there in a comment.